Hey everybody, I hope that you're all doing well. So we are starting off with Eight of Cups and Ten of Swords and King of Swords. With Eight of Cups and Ten of Swords, you could be coming to a very, very big conclusion here. And this can be something that I feel like you're not taking lightly. And it can be something that it's taken like a long time for you to get here at this point. Eight of Cups is when we find ourselves in a situation where what has come to light is that we are no longer going to get like what we need out of something. Basically, something is no longer in resonance with us anymore, and Ten of Swords is about that ending. When we have Eight of Cups is a card that's connected with choices that we make, as it is associated with what is currently resonating with us and what we find fulfillment within. And so it's not even about like whether we want to or not, it's like whether we do or not given a situation. So just take that idea off of the table of Eight of Cups being like, I want it to work out, because it's not like that. Eight of Cups is a card of it either does or it doesn't, and getting to Eight of Cups and Ten of Swords can be that conclusion of like, oh, this isn't gonna work, or oh, this is no longer working anymore, or oh, whatever it was or whatever it could have possibly been, that's no longer the case anymore at this point. I'm seeing Chariot on the bottom of the deck, so I do feel like there can be emotional stuff that has had to be worked through in order to get to this point. And having King of Swords is about finally seeing this clearly, and it can mean maybe having a conversation about it or making a choice about it. When we have Ten of Swords, I do feel like there is finally an admitting to this. But as I said before, I feel like it's taken a long time for you to get here to this point. So Eight of Cups will be that realization of, I'm not going to find fulfillment within this. It's time for me to move on. It's time for me to let go. And with that Ten of Swords, I'm not getting the sense that you want to have to be doing this. However, with the King of Swords there, you know that this is the right call for you to be making, because that's just what it is when you look at this as objectively as possible. And you can feel too, like, the longer that this is put off, you can feel like the more you're not connected with that part of you that's the King of Swords. And this is the part of you that's decisive. This is the part of you that is analyzing. This is the part of you that's taking action based off of what you're perceiving here. Now, after the King of Swords, we have Three of Cups. What this means is that whatever this is that you're stepping away from, as I said before, it's not, with that Ten of Swords there, I feel like this is implying that it's not that you wanted this to be the case, rather it's what you have deduced from this. And I don't get the idea that this is something that you've taken lightly. I don't get the idea that if there were like any chance of this being somewhere where you could find what you were looking for, what you need, where you could like find that sense of fulfillment and satisfaction, I get that it would be something that you would choose. But with that Eight of Cups and the Ten of Swords, it's the acknowledgement that it doesn't even matter what I want at this point. I want to be honest with myself about what is here. And in that understanding, it indicates action that's going to be taken. And at this point, you can be very much admitting the truth to yourself here about this. Now, after King of Swords, we have Three of Cups, which can mean that you can be moving in the direction of friends, you can be moving in the direction of support. This can be a place that you're moving into that feels more emotionally supportive for where you are. And this can even be connecting with a person or people that are supportive of you making this choice. Or this can be like people that you can talk to about this, or a person that you can talk to about this. You can feel too like you have to You have to protect what's important to you. With that 10 of Pentacles there, this is about long-term what's going to make sense for you. 7 of Wands can be that we are feeling challenged and that we need to step up and we need to show up. If the 10 of Pentacles is like what is most precious to you, 7 of Pentacles or 7 of Wands can be needing to do whatever it is that we need to do in order to protect that for ourselves. I keep getting this thing again, like not wanting to have to give this up, but feeling like it is necessary for you to do that. Because that 8 of Cups will be the recognition of, like, I have to let it go because it's not what I need. I have to let it go because it is not fulfilling to me. Coming back to this place of, I'm not saying that that's what you want to be doing here. What I'm saying is that there is a recognition of what's going on within this situation. And so you just looking at that with the King of Swords, this is like from a place where you are looking at this and just looking at the facts of what this situation is and making a decision based off of that. And not being clouded by emotions here. This is just being able to look at this point blank, to understand what's going on, and to be in a place where you're in total and absolute truth with yourself for what this situation is, for what makes sense, to put those pieces together, and to understand what it's adding up to here. As this is now like a fact for you, it looks like a plan is going to be being made, is going to be being worked on. You can really not want to do this with the 10 of Swords, but it also feels necessary at this point. It's like one of those times where you have to do what you feel is like very difficult and very challenging, and you wish that this wasn't what had to be going on, but at the same time you know that this is what you have to do. Because you're in a place of truth with yourself with that King of Swords there. So you know what this is. And you know what needs to be done. So even though it's not something where, like, this is not an ideal, the way that this situation is working out or has worked out, at this point in time, you could know that you have been set up to get to this point, to be at that crossroads. And you can either keep circulating within something that is like really leaving you high and dry versus making a choice to continue on with your storyline. So this is like, I want to move forward. I want to progress, even though I'm like upset about this, or this is really hard for me. Naturally, of course, making a transition is most of the time, I think, a pretty difficult thing to do, especially when stuff doesn't work out the way that we want it to. But at the same time, you can know that it would be maybe more tormenting to keep yourself within something that isn't ultimately going to deliver what it is that you need, what it is that you're looking for, what it is that you want. And so, like, why would you do that to yourself? So that can kind of be the rationale for this. When we have 2 of Wands, there is a need for us to be organized and calculated with what it is that we're doing. And I'm also seeing the Ace of Cups here. So this looks like you're stepping away from this and going through the acknowledgement of what that is, like going through that process. In the meantime, feeling like you have reunited with this very like logical, factual, objective part of yourself that is decisive. So there's this feeling of coming back home to that part of yourself, of being reunited with that part of yourself that is the King of Swords, and saying, this is what I need to do, and I am learning what I need to do in order to keep things in order. I'm figuring out how to do exactly that. Now, what we have next, and this seems kind of soon, but I'm looking at an Ace of Cups, which means that you have a new chapter that's starting. Everything that we don't find within the 8 of Cups, we do find within the Ace. That is the potential for it to lead to the Ten of Cups. Eight of Cups is a situation where we're like working towards the Ten of Cups, but we don't know if it's going to get there, and then realizing that that's not the Ten of Cups for us, and then having to make a choice then at that point. So what it looks like is that you are moving towards the Ace of Cups now, which means that this is going to be a new chapter that you're starting. So that can be too, like you found yourself at a crossroads and it was like, are you going to pick the Eight of Cups, which is an empty situation for yourself, or are you going to choose the Ace of Cups? And the Ace of Cups will be something that it feels like a transition, because I am seeing the Ten of Swords there. So it means like you get to pick either this or you pick that. And when you look at it as the King of Swords, which is the part of you that's just going to look at the facts here and figure out how to take action, a wise way to take action. Again, that's not clouded by your emotions. I'm not saying that emotions innately cloud things. I'm talking about like emotions more in the way of attachments that we have. It's like you're not going to be... King of Swords is not the part of us that's going to be clouded by that type of thing. It's like having to make the tough call, but knowing that we're better off for that when that's what we do, because that's how we're showing up for ourselves. So you found yourself at a crossroads. You're looking at the different options here. Ace of Cups is going to be a new chapter that you are starting, potentially, if that's what you choose. Because we have that Two of Wands, like, I don't know if you've totally decided upon this. For some of you, you may have decided upon it, you just like didn't make the move yet. I think too that having the Ace of Cups can make this transition maybe a bit easier. Oh. Ace of Cups and Seven of Pentacles. Maybe you're going to switch full time over to something. Like maybe you knew that something was an option and you're going to decide to like commit fully or go all in. Because this Ace of Cups may be something that you've already been working on. You may decide like fully that that's what you're going to be doing here. Feels like choosing. I'm seeing an investment immediately come together here. Okay. There is a little bit of anxiety that's involved in this. I'm seeing Nine of Swords go over to the Ace of Cups, which means that in the new chapter of the Ace of Cups, which Ace of Cups is a new connection, something along the lines of that, okay? It's a new chapter that on a level of feeling, we feel connected to it. So like emotionally, this will be something that you have going on here. Seeing Nine of Swords, you may not know what's going to be happening here. Like something can feel like a bit of a risk, something can feel like a bit of a chance. And seeing Seven of Pentacles and seeing Five of Wands, this can be like there's some type of thing that has to be worked out here that's associated with what you have going on. And there can be something that ultimately does need to be done here, but you may also feel like there's a bit of a question mark on this. But I also get the sense too of you facing this fully. Yeah. Let me just use an example, okay? I don't get the sense that this is going to be the actual case for most of you, but I'm just using this example because I feel like it's an easy way to understand this. What it looks like to me overall that's been going on is that, like, let's say that you have two things going on simultaneously, okay? Let's say that you have two jobs going on simultaneously. One of the jobs you started with, and it was working for a while, and then it got to the point where you maybe started questioning stuff, and then you could have had a new work opportunity that came up, okay? And it was something that you felt connected with, and you were like, okay, I want to explore this, and I can like do both of these things at the same time, so I'm gonna do that. Now, that original initial job that you had going on, it feels like you're not really getting anything from it anymore. Like, it feels dried up to you, okay? So it's like you don't feel happy about it. You don't like wake up in the morning feeling excited about it. It's like not something that you feel very enthusiastic about. You don't feel like super connected to it. It's something that feels like it doesn't really feed your soul any longer. But we can have emotional ties to things where we feel attached to the familiarity of it. Okay? So there can be a part of you that's like, man, like if I let this go, that means that the familiarity of being within something that I know, even though I'm not happy here, I'm gonna have to cut ties with that. I'm gonna have to fully step out because it feels like this other job that you've had going on, like this other option that you've had going on, it now will conflict. So you can't have two of them at the same time anymore. So there's a choice that has to be made. Now, if you look at this as the King of Swords, it feels very clear, like what you would be doing here, but things don't happen in a vacuum. And so on an emotional level, this can be something that feels like a bit more of a struggle than it just being like, obviously I know what I would be doing here. Even if you know what you're going to do at the end of the day, it can be something where you still like take that moment to be like, okay, is this really the right thing for me to be doing? I think too that there's some type of question mark on this other thing that you've been having going on. So even though you've been actively investing in it, which I feel like is indicated by that, at the same time, it feels like there's some type of troubleshooting that's necessary. It feels like there's something that's not totally worked out with that, and you don't really know what's going to happen. So you can be in between, like, well, I know that I don't want to be here anymore, but I don't know about this other thing either. It feels like something, I don't know if like something hasn't fully developed yet or like what it is exactly, but there's something here that feels like questionable about it. And I wonder too if there's like some type of issue that you're already aware of, or better yet, like something that would need to be worked out that you're already aware of, and you may be like, I don't know if that can be worked out or not. It may be able to be worked out and resolved. It may not be able to be worked out and resolved. And so that kind of complicates things a little bit here. Because there can be a part of you that's like terrified of like, what if I choose that and then things don't end up working out, even though you've like already been choosing it. So, and you know that you don't want to go here. So it's like the only way that you really have to go moving is forward, but your fear can be telling you something else. Like maybe I have more options than I really realized, but it feels like obviously this, you don't want this, obviously. It's like, it's not what you need it to be, okay? So that much is clear. That doesn't mean you're not attached to it, but that is the notion of having that Eight of Cups. Otherwise, we wouldn't be wandering around looking for something. So having that Ace of Cups, it really can potentially be that answer to what it is that you're looking for. But having that Five of Wands, I do feel like there's something here that needs to be figured out. And now, I don't know too, like maybe Five of Wands is associated with you feeling like you have to pick between the two, but is it really a choice if that other thing is the Eight of Cups for you? Like, if that other thing is feeling empty to you, what even is the choice then? I think it's like maybe your attachment versus how like open you possibly are. I need to get two more cards to complete the spread, and then we'll see what else is coming up here. Okay, King of Swords and Knight of Swords, maybe you have to say something. Like, you may have to call this out. You may have to, like, say it out loud. You may have to tell somebody, like, maybe something needs to be communicated about this. Maybe you have to make an announcement. You know, like, back to this example of it being about a job, let's say, like you may have to go to your employer and say, hey, I'm not happy here, I'm going to be leaving, I'm going to this other job that I've had on the side, and I'm going to be doing that full time then. And maybe there's something about being decisive that feels terrifying. Maybe there's something that you feel scared of about being decisive here. I'm seeing 7-7. When we have sevens, it's a time where choices come to light, and we need to reflect more deeply to make sure that we are going the right way for the right reasons. And that we are essentially opening, like opening and expanding rather than contracting, even though that can feel safer sometimes. I feel like this is something that like feels really difficult to be doing here, but I'm also seeing it be linked with the Two of Cups. So I feel like this is, I have to get through this thing and it's really difficult for me to get through. But then on the other side of it, that's where the Two of Cups is. And that's going to be a decision that's well worth it to me. Like you're choosing something from a place of like, this is going to be long lasting for me. This is going to be stable for me. This is something that there's going to be a sense of duration where I feel like this has run out of time. That will be the feeling. Because I'm seeing this Ace of Cups, like this other job for the example. It's linked with the Ten of Pentacles for you. Ten of Pentacles is about the stuff that we choose that ends up being like lasting for us within our lives, where it sticks around for a long time. And that is why you would choose this Ace of Cups. But you have to let go of what's no longer in alignment if you are to do that. I feel too like some of you may have a person or you may have people around you that can help support you through this, because this can be something that feels like really stressful, or it can be something that feels like a really big deal or like a really big choice for you to be making right now at this point in your life. And so if you have like a person or people around you, like a Two of Cups type of situation with someone, so this can be like, this would be like somebody that you would really trust, or like your friends, or just something like that, whatever your like support system is here that can really help you move through this. I feel like something that would give you emotional comfort moving through this, that helps doing the difficult thing like a little bit easier because you feel like something or someone has your back. That can be something that you find to be really helpful, like support that you have, and support that is looking out for your best interest as well. That's something that you can find to be like very helpful now at this point. I get the sense of you being ready for the next chapter. I think it really is just about a release now at this point. I do want to see something though, because there's something here that is sticking out to me that I don't totally like. This Five of Wands shows something being on the table that makes this not the easiest choice for some reason, but I'm not totally getting that. And I don't know if it's just because you have something emotional going on here, like attachment wise, that makes this a difficult thing to do, or if there's like something that I'm not totally seeing here. Seeing stuff having to do with fear, and it can be maybe feeling like if you chose what you really wanted to choose here, something about difficulties within the circumstances. Because when I split the deck, I'm seeing Five of Pentacles. And that can be us being like, well, if I chose what I really wanted to choose here, like, how would things fall into place and how would things work out? And for like many people, that can be a reason why they don't do what they want to do, because they don't believe that things can work out. It's like this old belief that if we really follow our hearts, if we really follow our intuition, that things aren't going to work out, which is just a belief. But that's something that can be sort of playing in the background here a little bit, that can maybe make this feel more complicated. Something about having to work together and be on the same page. But I feel like this is first and foremost with your own energy. And this Five of Wands, I do get it being about emotional stuff. So far, anyway. What is this Five of Wands about? Seeing the Devil coming out. As I said before, attachment. Emotional attachment, which that does not come from a place of love within us. It comes from a place of wounding. It is part of the matrix. It is part of the programming. So that's why that's what is making this situation so complicated. When we have the Devil, this is like some very like deeply ingrained fear that we have. This is some deeply ingrained like mistrust that we have within ourselves, within the process, within like cosmically. Like the Devil is the thing that keeps us from trusting ourselves intuitively by saying like, oh, you're not that wise to know what's best for you in this situation, or like, you know, your intuition can be misleading or misguiding you here when you know that's not actually the case. Attachments, yes. Your intuition, no. So when you're in that clear space, it is about that relationship that you have with yourself. So yeah, part of the thing with the Devil too, because this is the energy of Capricorn, and as we all have Capricorn within our birth charts, and we all have Saturn, and some of us have Capricorn placements specifically, this shadow of Capricorn is, well, I've put all this energy in, and so even though I'm standing in the face of something that clearly isn't working any longer, I want to keep holding on to it because I already invested. Or I expected it to last 10 more years. And so even though in the face of this not working, I'm recognizing that I'm still going to hold on to it for another 10 years because I'm not adapting to the situation as it is. The thing with the Devil too is that if we are to make choices that are connected with the Devil, because I'm seeing the Devil, but then I'm seeing the Tower, which this is a time when you can break out of that. This is the time when you can transcend this. So you're being set up to be able to ascend essentially through this situation, if that is what you choose. The deal with the Devil is that it will be like, yeah, choose this and choose that. And when you take the advice of it, you choose it, but then it's like you still have that weird feeling in your stomach because it wasn't really the right choice. And in some ways, like to your ego can be like, yes, I'm so glad that this is what you chose for us, because it feels safe, but then you don't feel happy. You don't feel that sense of fulfillment because the ego is not connected with what you're going to feel satisfied with. It is about what is the safe bet and what is the safe call. I don't care if you're happy or not. It's like, can you live or are you going to die within this? And we're just going to choose what's safer for you. And that is the agenda. And the ego isn't bad. It's just that's the agenda of the ego. And that's what the Devil connects to. Because it's you in this finite, like all you are is just 3D. There's nothing that extends beyond that. But we are so much more. And so we won't feel satisfied just making choices with using that type of logic. Because we are so much more than that. So it feels like something's missing because it is. So it's about tapping into that like higher divine wisdom within you that is innate, and using that as the mechanism to move through this and make your choices and to be inspired by that. All right, my friends, we are going to leave the reading here. I would like to thank everyone for connecting. Thank you for tuning in. I am sending everybody love, and I hope to catch you guys next time.